You're still limping then, Tony?
Still a bit sore, mate. Still a bit sore.
So, are you relieved to be back doing the day job, Tony, talking football?
Oh, absolutely, mate. You know, put those dancing shoes away now for good, pal. Poof, that was
hard
tough.
work?
Yeah, miles. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think
Sorry, go on.
No, just welcome to, get back to what I know, really, to be honest with you. It was interesting. Having to learn a new skill in that amount of time was really scary. And when I've been playing football, training as we all, did as kids, and since the age of 6 and stuff, you've got something to fall back on. But when you're doing something that you don't even really, you've got what's all that about? And you're like, oh! You want to see my outtakes of my first dance, actually. It was brilliant. I just did one hold and I went, help! For the whole 90 seconds. Yeah, frightening.
You all voted for him, I take it, did you? Yeah. Anyway, it'll be the jungle for you next.
That's it, I'm on my way.
Yep.
I've got a word with
Harry, would you recommend the jungle for Tony?
Absolutely. They pay you £1 million, Tony.
I'm in.
Anyway, so tonight we're going to discuss all things World Cup. We'll have about 45, 50 minutes chatting to the team, and then a bit of a break, and then you can ask some questions in the second half. So, Harry, I'll kick off with you, and I can almost guess the answer before I ask it. How are you feeling about a Winter World Cup?
Strange, isn't it, Sean? Yeah, I mean, we always look forward to summer comes and we all get ready for the World Cup, book our holidays around. We all want to watch as many games as we can, but I just find it all strange. It's not like a World Cup's coming somehow, but next week when it starts, I'll be glued to the TV watching every game and following all the games, but it's very, very different, but... someone said to me yesterday, how are they going to play? They've just come back from there. How are they going to play in the heat? But I think they actually got air conditioning, haven't they?
Yes, they do.
Stadium. So, but no, I'm looking forward to it. It's a great tournament, and
Tony, how do you feel about a Winter World Cup?
Yeah, I was getting ready in the summer, to be honest with you. I really missed it. This you know what I mean? It's like, like Harry said, you plan your holidays around it and get ready, and all of a sudden we've got kind of going into November, we're going to have a look at some football and stuff. But there you go. I got out in time of Strictly, so I can concentrate on watching the games. So it's perfect timing. And, going to be glued like Harry to every game and come on England.
Ledley and Jack, you've played in relatively recent World Cups, you in 2010, you in 2014. For players, what do you think they're thinking playing mid-season in a World Cup? Would you have liked it?
Would I have liked it? Probably not. I think as a player, you probably want to have your season with your club, be able to switch off from that and then go into the World Cup. Standing on the outside now, I have no problem with it because I'm a fan and I just want to see as much football as I can. But yeah, as a player, it's very difficult, and especially for their clubs, the managers there, very difficult to kind of plan your season through it, yeah.
Jack, I know we were talking earlier on, and I've often said you get to the end of a season, everybody moans because they've got a long season, they've got to play a lot of games throughout that season, and they're all knackered. And now all I'm hearing this time round is everybody's knackered, we've had a load of intense games, and so how can you have a World Cup at this time of the season? Is there ever a right time? I mean...
No, like I said to you, I actually think it could be seen as a good thing. Obviously, the boys who got injured just before, if the World Cup was in the summer, they might have had an opportunity of getting there. But the other ones... I know they've had a real intense period, but they should be relatively fresh going into it. Most of them in good form, some not. But I quite like the idea of it, to be honest.
Yeah. Tony, I was going to ask if England would be out the World Cup before you were out of Strictly.
Hey, there we
go.
You
spoiled that one. You spoiled that one.
So they've survived longer than me.
Yeah, because the Strictly final's the 17th of December and the World Cup final's the 18th. It could have been an amazing double. Well, that one's gone now. So how do you rate England's chances for this World Cup? I mean, particularly you'd probably be interested in the central defence, and that's the sort of thing that we're worried about most.
I think we've had conversations beforehand, and I am really worried, and hopefully we've not missed the boat, because we've had 2 outstanding tournaments, and we've had great opportunities in the Euros and the World Cup in Russia to actually gone and won it, and now we're at the stage where actually I think there's not the continuity or the momentum, actually, and defensively it worries me, even down to the goalkeeper. You know what I mean? And every team that have won the World Cup defensively, I'm sorry to say, have always been the best team with the best defence always win the World Cup for me. You know, the organised French, the last World Cup, they went out there, they were organised, they played the 4-3-3, they had momentum, they had confidence, and it was the team that won it rather than individuals. And we ain't got I don't think Gareth knows at this point the back four. I really don't think that he knows what he's doing and whether he's going to play a 5 or a 4. Or, you know, he's got Iran and the USA coming first. So, you know, it's kind of, do I play a back 4? Maguire's been really good for Gareth, but he's obviously not been great for Man U or what have you. So, you know, you've got Dyer in there. I think Shaw, for me, he's a wing back. It's huge problems, huge questions for me. And going into a World Cup, I don't think you want that. You want stability.
He's not very optimistic this time. Jack, you're a little more optimistic.
Tonight, back Spurs, we're going to win it, don't worry.
I'd agree with Tony's points. I think I was talking to Ledley before, and you have to nowadays, like, you have to change each game. So we're playing Iran the first game. I don't think they'll cause us that many problems. So I would personally go for back 4. But then you think. Should you like try and get your team and get momentum and go over 3? But I don't know. I mean, you look at our defenders and you'd worry about Maguire in a 2, Luke Shaw probably a wing back, Trent the same. I mean, against Iran you might get away with it when you start playing the better teams. I think we have to go over back 5.
But again, you don't sound over optimistic either. Harry, give us some hope.
Well, listen, if we had these,
Come on, Harry.
if we had these 2, I can honestly say, if these 2 were playing at the back together, Tony and Ledley, I think we'd win the World Cup. I really.
Come on!
Yeah.
Come on, Ledley, let's go.
Listen, I'm not, because they're sitting here. Could you imagine them 2 together? It would have been quite incredible, wouldn't it? But. No, I worry about us defensively. I'm like Tony, I don't think we really... How are we going to play? What is our system? We play in 5, we play in a back 4, we go in 1, we seem to chop and change. And we have had 2 great opportunities to win tournaments. Russia, you know, for me, we had such a run of games where, you know, the draw was so favourable, if we're honest about it. You know, the best result we had was getting beat by Belgium, who end up in the group of death, and we end up in the other half of the draw. And the first decent team I felt that we played, Croatia, but they was an Asian team. Modric really was getting, you know, but still pulled all the strings. But I think we've got some fantastic young players going forward. You know, I just think there's so much talent midfield forward that we can cause anybody problems, but I just worry about us defensively. And as the boys said, you know, will Harry Maguire play? Will he play? Well, I'm sure he'll play him. I've got no doubts he'll start him. I saw Pickford on Saturday at Bournemouth, and he had a nightmare, believe you me. But you know, but he's done well. He was honestly had a nightmare. But
These 2 want
well.
Ramsdale in. These 2.
Go on, Ramsdale.
The crowd was singing, you're not as good as Ramsdale, all game through it. I mean, like, Ramsdale played at Bournemouth as well, didn't he? But no, I worry about us at the back. But I think, love some of the young players, Jack, you know.
I let them.
Bellingham looks a talent, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Bellingham, what a player he looks. I mean, to captain Borussia Dortmund at 19, I mean, it must be some talent.
So
that is some feat.
Ledley, do you agree with Harry? If you played with Tony Adams, he could have won the World Cup?
Oh, no danger, honestly.
Yeah?
Oh,
of course.
Ledley, listen, one quick story. When on a Friday, I said to the boys, on a Friday, Ledley, he wouldn't train all week. His knee was would blow up like a balloon, so he'd play on a Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, get his ice all day, Wednesday, Thursday. He used to do a couple of laps to the pitch on a Friday morning. He gave me the thumbs up that he was okay, and I thought we'd win on Saturday. Ledley's fit. He was that good. And, well, Tony, you don't have to say how good he was. But no, I've got no doubts with them 2 together. I'd have lumped on. I don't like betting, but I would have had a bet.
I'll give you a chance, Ledley, if you can get a word in. What do you think of England's chances?
So,
Somebody.
I think you know, at the moment we're not in the best form if I look at the England team as a whole, and probably for me too many individual players that are not in great form as well. I think, you know, we still have some fantastic players. I'd like to see us base our our performances on our attacking players. Put a little bit more onus on the attacking football, because I don't think we have the back four, whether it's a back four, whether it's three centre halves. I don't feel that we have the players there at this moment in time, or playing with the right confidence to say we're going to go in and be tough to beat and kind of go that way. I think that we're going to have to let the shackles off a little bit, and we want to see the likes of Bellingham getting forward, Foden, whoever else is
no reason
playing.
to be scared of the group, though, is there?
No, and I think it's a perfect first game to kind of let the shackles off and hopefully go front foot and try and score some goals, get some confidence, because if we think we're gonna just kind of sit back, soak it up, and kind of win games that way, I just can't see it.
Are you all sort of happy with the squad he picked? I mean, players like Conor Gallagher, Callum Wilson. Would you have taken them yourself, Harry?
Well, I think the big choices really were Callum Wilson or Tony from Brentford, who, that's all Gareth needed on Saturday, him scoring 2 goals, wasn't it?
Would you have tried to take them both? Or
because there's not a lot of cover. I'm sure you could have done.
All right, who would you have left out then?
Who would you have left out? I suppose, listen to boy Gallagher, I like him. I think he's a good player, he's got a good big future, but I don't really ever see him getting a game. I can't see where he's going to play him. Can you really? I watched him the weekend, and he is a good footballer, there's no doubt, but I wouldn't see him getting a place in the team unless there's loads of injuries. So you could have took another striker. And Tony as well, we end up with penalties in so many games. There's going to be a lot of drawn games. He's a great penalty taker. Never misses, does he? So him and Wilson are both great penalty takers. They might have come in useful.
What is it like when you're left out of a World Cup squad? Tony, you were left out.
Oh, thanks, mate.
1992. Well, you've got to go to one as well, so you've had both
I dropped myself into oblivion for about a month, mate. Thanks, Sean, for bringing that back. Tried to kill myself and all that. No, I got down to the 22 in those days, and the 3 Arsenal lads were left out for the 1990 World Cup.
Yeah. Did you expect to be
devastated? I think it was really weird because we won the league in '89, and I didn't win the league. Sorry, we won the league again in '91. Wasn't to know that. Bobby wasn't to know that. But I think because of my behaviour off the pitch at the time, Bobby might have. You have to ask him. Obviously, we can't now. But you're going to have to ask him if it had an effect on him, taking me or not. I was getting up to a lot of rubbish off the pitch, if you know what I mean. And was I someone that he wanted to take? He had Mark Wright, he had little Paul Parker, and he had big Terry Butcher, 3, and they were doing a good job. And he thought, do I need this, this kind of drunk, as it were, off the pitch alongside? So I think, it was devastating. I didn't have the tools to handle it, really. In those days, I just got drunk,
But were you angry about it? I mean, you say you got drunk, but were you angry about being left out? If you feel you deserve
if I didn't take because alcohol's a great suppressant, it suppresses all your emotions, and because of the anger, I was so angry, I didn't be angry because I suppressed it with the booze, so I just went on an almighty bender all summer and met my first wife, actually. Anyway, I don't know where we're going now. We know all that ended really badly. Where were we? It left out the World Cup. You started it. But I'm really positive about this one, because going forward, I think forward-wise, offensively, I think we're best in the world.
Yeah.
We've got some real talent going. But if you want to be positive about this squad, that's where to look at for me. If we can get the back line sorted out, or the back 5, whatever, you can get that kind of sewn up and work on that. And Gareth, he was a defender. He should be able, and Stevie Holland should be able to organise that and get it out there. We've got some of the best talent in the world to know. Look at Saka. My God, I'm still saying he's on fire, the kid, He's pulling up the top of the league, and he's creating goals, he's scoring goals. Magnificent player. So I am positive. We're not, we are. It doesn't sound like it because we're all kind of a bit afraid of the back line.
Do you think, Harry, as a manager, do you think the criticism of Southgate has been fair? I mean, he has achieved quite a lot for England, but hasn't got them over the line. Is it fair to have a go at him?
No, I mean, he's done a good job, Gareth. I think the criticism of the penalty takers was fair. Yeah. I think that was an almighty ricket he made. And I think, to bring on a couple of kids who, not even warmed up and come on and not took penalties before to take the penalty, in a situation like that, I thought it was strange beyond belief. But no, I like Gareth. I think he's done a good job, but I do think we have got some fantastic talent, and as the boys say, going forward, I think we're as good as anybody. So, yeah, I think we've got a real opportunity this year. I do, as Tony said, if we can sort the back out and be a little bit more solid defensively, we've got the tools to hurt anybody. You know, Saka is in great form. But Saka at Arsenal, Grealish. I watched Grealish the other day against Chelsea. I think he's a fantastic footballer.
Yeah, inconsistent though, isn't he?
He is, but you know, but genius is never consistent, is it? You know, you're never going to be a 9 out of 10 if you're a genius. You know, you get 8 out of 10, 7.5. He's never going to be that, is he? He's just a special, amazing talent. And so I'd love to see him, you know, Foden. I love Foden. Harry Kane is I wouldn't swap Harry Kane. You know, even I'd take Harry Kane all round as good as anybody in the world. Harry Kane at centre forward. Fantastic player.
Jack, we were talking earlier, and you have actually been in squads with Gareth Southgate as the manager, although you didn't actually play for him in the end. But what is he like around the dressing room, around the squad? What is he's got that...
He is what everyone sees. He's calm, he's a nice guy. He's a good manager. Like I said to you, Steve Holland does most of the coaching. But he was a good guy. He was good with me. He didn't give me a chance, but it was nice. He was good. Yeah, I probably got injured at the wrong time when I was in that squad. But he was good. He spoke to me. He was clear. He was, he was honest with me. Yeah, and I think it's tough now, right, Harry? Like you'll know better, but he'll be under big pressure now.
Yeah.
This tournament, we got really close, and then we got even closer. And I said to you before, Sean, I feel like there's a little bit of negativity around the team at the minute from the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
So I would think the first game is massive. Like Ledley said, if we can get good start, score a few goals, get confidence flowing, get all the fans on our side, we've got a chance.
Ledley, we were talking earlier on, you work for Mourinho, which is obviously quite a contrast. So do you prefer the Southgate approach or the Mourinho type of approach?
What are they?
Well, I think Mourinho has appeared to be fairly hot-headed, fairly intense, fairly lively. Gareth always strikes me as fairly calm individual.
Yeah. It has to, for me, it'd be silly. I was going to say hot-headed, but that wasn't the way I played. So that would be silly for me to say that. But no, listen, I think obviously there's a time for a bit of both. But I like Gareth. I think what he's done great is he's kind of bring that love back between the fans and the players, which has been missing. During my time, there was a bit of a disconnect for whatever reason, and I think Gareth's managed to bring that kind of connection back into the team. I think it's been a young group. He understands the young players. He understands what it's like to be an international player, and I think that he's brought that into the group. And it's a group that people like. It's a group of players that everyone can get behind. They're all good lads, and I think it's a team that we should be proud of and really get behind them.
I'm afraid I'll have to leave you out this one, Harry, but what's it like to go to a World Cup? Sorry, you nearly might have done it, but...
I've been to what?
I've been to watch.
Tony, you start. What's it like to go?
I was clean and sober and free as a bird in '98. It was just wonderful. It was just a wonderful experience. I went to 3 Euros. But there's something really special about the world stage, and the support in northern France in particular it's like a home game. It was like playing at home, the Colombian game and stuff. It's unfortunate we played down in St Etienne for the Argentina game. It wasn't really the same, even though there was a lot of. And I always remembered, when we went down to 10 men, and my God, the atmosphere and that I thought, oh my God, it was. Looking back, I've watched the game because I played quite well. And I thought, I like that. It's one of my best games I've ever played for my country as well. And I was so serene and I was so at peace, and I loved it, apart from not being skipper, to be honest with you. Glenn in the orders, where's that Oddle gone? But I've always thinking, and it's a serious point, about having a forward as your captain, I don't know how Harry feels about this, but having Harry Kane as your captain, and I think in 2016 when we may have needed an alternative to come off, do you take your captain off at a crucial time of the game? You know, with a Declan Rice as your captain, or someone that's going to give you 90 minutes on a regular basis in back or in midfield, it would be my choice of captain. And Glenn's said to me he made Alan captain because he would get more penalties than me. Anyway, so I kind of I disagreed with him, and I said, well, you know, that's your story. And he was 38. You know, no dissing. You know, I think he's an incredible coach, Glenn Hoddle. I just thought he was a bit too young, and he didn't have the support staff. You know how important, Harry probably tell you about this more than me as well. Your support staff is so critical around you, people that have been there, done it and seen it. So going to a World Cup with Glenn was a little bit inexperienced, to be honest with you, and not being captain, I thought the lads, they play golf every single day, you know what I mean? I love golf now and stuff, but every single day, I'm like, lads, rest up, lads, for God's sake, you know, we've got a game tomorrow, you know, to chill out. But I didn't feel like I had maybe the power that I would have done if I was the skipper. But loved it, loved every minute of it.
Ledley, you went in 2010, and we were very excited about the fact you were going. You talked up very strong.
I don't know if Harry was you, Harry?
No, but it was a strange decision.
It was strange.
I mean, Ledley was struggling, and Capello came to see me. You know, I was managing Tottenham. He said about Ledley. I said, look, he's a fantastic, incredible footballer, but you know, it's a World Cup. You know, you're going to be playing, you know, game after game. There's not a lot of rest. He needs 7 days to recover from that with his knee, you know.
Yeah. It was a tough one.
Gamble,
I mean,
didn't he?
From 2007, really, I kind of put England to the side to focus on really playing as many games as I could for my club. You know, I'd often break down with muscle injuries. I'd play 3 or 4 games and then I'd break down, I'd feel my hamstring. So I never felt confident enough to kind of meet up with England, even though Capello kept asking me to come in. But it just so happened, just before the 2010 World Cup, we qualified for the Champions League that season. I went on a good run right at the end of the season. That was the first time I felt confident in my body that I could do it. And obviously I went to the World Cup. I knew there was a lot of pressure on me. A lot of people were saying, why are you taking him? And yeah, I played a warm-up game, fine. Played 2 warm-up games, actually, fine. Yeah. 5 minutes into the first game against USA, I felt my groin go. And you know, I managed to struggle through the first half. I just couldn't bear to take myself off the pitch, because I knew there was so many people saying, I told you shouldn't have took him. So I kind of struggled through the first half. I cheated my way through the first half, and I knew at half-time that was it for my World Cup. So yeah, it was really bittersweet for me. But obviously, it's every young boy's dream to represent your country in a World Cup.
Did you think about, like Harry was saying about, you took you 7 days to recover. Did you think about saying to Capello, I'd better not go, I don't think I can do it?
Of course, I'd always said that, but it was more for me down to the muscle injuries that I was pulling. I didn't feel confident enough in my body. You know, whether it was 5 days or sometimes 6 or whatever, I felt like I might have been able to do that at that period in time. And that's really why I went. But it's difficult. I mean, to go away with England and not train, I wasn't training. Yeah. You know, it was just a weird environment to be around the group for a month but hardly see them, because I wasn't on the training pitch, I was doing my own things. So it was really strange for me.
Jack, when you went in 2014, did you go with an attitude of, yeah, I'm fit, I'm firing, I'm ready for it, I want to do well, I belong here, if you like?
Yeah, I'd been in the setup for a while. I missed 2012 Euros. I was injured, missed it, so this was like my first tournament. I was like, it was every kid's dream, of course, and then, which made it even better, I was given a number 7 shirt. You know, I grew up watching Becks as my hero, so to go to the World Cup with that was very special. But then we got there and we didn't win a game, so it was...
You got on in the first game?
Yeah, no, we played Italy first game in Manaus, and it was actually quite funny because we'd prepared so much for this game. Like, we'd been in Portugal training in big coats, bin bags, like preparing, because the altitude was mad. So we went there and the game plan was like, let Pirlo have it. I remember Roy saying, let Pirlo have it, his legs are gone, he can't move.
Oh my God.
We couldn't get near him.
Oh my God.
He was rubbish, wasn't he?
Oh my God.
He was the best guy on the pitch. Like, you couldn't get near him.
The message should have been, do not let Pirlo marking man for man, just play 10 against 10. I've never seen anyone run a game like he did.
No, he did that game.
It was
as well.
crazy,
It was
wasn't it?
crazy. And we lost the first game, and then it was like I said to you before, Sean. Like you could feel like the tension in the group building, because then the second game becomes we can't lose. Yeah, and then we came home early. So listen, to go to a World Cup was fantastic, but it wasn't what we planned as a group.
So we're obviously well known, we haven't won it since '66. I mean, do you think genuinely, like Tony, '98, you should have won it, for instance?
Well, we had the best, you know, we'd played it, France won it, and, you know, I was playing with the guys. I had to go back to training with 5 World Cup winners, you know, that was really good fun. But we were training with them every day, you know, we was just as good as everyone, you know, Becks were there and the Man United boys, they went on the next season and won the treble, you know, so we had the talent in the country and we get done on penalties, so... You know, it could have been a different way. There's a luck of the, you know, throw the dice there, really, isn't there? There's a kind of fate kind of takes over a little bit, but yeah. So we should, you know, we had a hell of a chance.
I mean, did you feel robbed?
Great squad.
Did you feel it was Beckham's fault? Like,
yeah, of course it was. I told you. You know the story, didn't you? I went into the dressing room afterwards, and he's in floods of tears, and Hod's bolted and all the lads are just leaving him alone. He's crying, and I went over to him. I said, Bex, you know, son, come on. I said, you know, you're all right, you know, you work hard next season, you know, go back to your club. That's what I did in '88 when I had a humiliating time, and I went back and we won the league in '89. Go there. If I knew they'd win the treble, I would have said that. I would have said that to him. But what I said, and he's like, oh, thanks, Stone. And I said, by the way, it's my last effing World Cup chance, mate, and he's just blown it. And he went, is he having a laugh here? I said, you can have loads more opportunities, but that's my last one, and I'm out.
Harry, should we have won it since?
Well, we've had teams, certainly, haven't we? We've had enough good, every World Cup, we've had some great squads of players that you really felt we had a great chance. But it's thin divide, you know, South Africa, you know, Frank's goal that was over the line by about 2 foot. I mean, if that's given against Germany, who knows what could happen? You know, you need the breaks, don't you? You need this, you know, it's a cup competition, isn't it? At the end of the day, once you're at this, it's the luck of the draw, you know? You draw the right teams and you know, as I said in the last World Cup, when Belgium ended up in a group with France and Brazil and all the rest, we ended up in a group with raggy-arse Rovers, whoever they was, and, you know, we ended up going through, didn't we? And then we get Croatia. You thought, hang on, we've got what a chance we've got.
They won't win the league.
What a chance we got here. But if we get the breaks, and we have got some fantastic, as I keep saying, some fantastic talent, I think, at the moment. Great young players, forward players, midfield players. Exciting to watch.
Yeah. Jack, what Tony said there about 5 French internationals come back to the club. You'll have had that with Germany when Mertesacker, Ozil, Podolski. Per Mertesacker's now your boss. I mean, does he have his World Cup medal on the desk?
No, he don't, but I remember that. But you know what, like, it sounds mad, but did we ever really have a chance in 2014? Like, I remember going into it thinking, yeah, OK, we might do, but really and truly, I don't think we ever did. And I think that's where Gareth has done such a good job by turning around, like, that perception of the team, where now, like, everyone sat in there thinks, all right, we have got a little bit of a chance. 10 years ago, I don't think we had that.
But do they come back with the medal?
Yeah, of course they did.
Do they?
Podolski was the character as well, so he reminded us every single day.
Harry, you were teammates with Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst, Martin Peters when they won the World Cup. I mean, what was it like at that time? I mean, would they come back and you all clap them into the dressing room?
No, they just, you know, I mean, they got £1,000 each for winning the World Cup. And I remember saying to Bobby, what did you do on the night? He said, well, we had a big function, you know, all the dignitaries were there when they won, and the wives weren't allowed into the function. Mm-hmm. The wives had to sit in the hotel, in the foyer, waiting for about 3.5 hours till the players, they came out. He said, and then we had nowhere to go. He said, so we ended up trying to find somewhere to go out and have a drink with the wives, and end up in Danny LaRue's club. You remember Danny LaRue, the female impersonator? He said, and we had a table right next to the toilet, the worst table in the house. They just won the World Cup. It's incredible, isn't it? Completely different world, you know. But they just came back, got on with it, you know, amazing.
Yeah.
Very different.
I can just move on just to Wales, Harry. Your old mate Gareth Bale, set for a great swan song, seems to manage to play just 5 minutes of a game and score the crucial goal or whatever. I mean, you were his manager on, one of the great nights I saw, Taxi for Mike on night. He was never a left back, was he?
No.
He wasn't. He was never a left back.
Who?
Gareth Bale.
Well,
you were going to sell him, weren't you?
No, I'm never going to. No, I've heard that. No, I've heard someone said I was going to. Never in a million years would. I knew him from Southampton, and I watched him play before I went to Tottenham. Obviously, I saw him at Fulham one day when I think you were 3-1 up, and ended up getting beat 4-3. He was fantastic. But I think he could play left back. He'd bomb forward from there, but he's an amazing talent.
Changed it for you. What did you?
Well, I pushed him. I had Modric. I pushed Luka inside one. I mean, when I was going to play Luka central, people on the staff said to me, Harry can't. I'd only been there like a month. I said, I'm going to play him in the middle of the park. Modric, they said, he can't play there. He's not strong enough. He'll get slaughtered. And we played him there against Arsenal on the Tuesday night. I think it was. We beat Arsenal. And then on the Saturday, we had Chelsea. And again, one or two of the coaching staff said to me, you're not going to play there Saturday, is it, Harry, though, are you? I said, yeah. He said, they've got Essien, Ballack, Lampard. They'll walk all over him. I said, no, he won't. He'd be right. He run, and we won. We beat Chelsea on the Saturday, and he ran the game again. He never played it back on the left wing again, did he?
No.
And Gareth, so we pushed him inside one, and pushed Gareth went forward one. But I mean, I think even when he went back to Tottenham, if he'd have been used more, I think he had a lot more to offer.
Did. It was like goals to games record was great again. He still had so much quality.
I know.
So much quality.
He came back then. It was as though I'm not knocking Jose what he's achieved in the game, but it was like he wasn't his signing and he didn't really fancy him or want to play him. He never played. He came on a sub. Yeah, he'd come on late, and then when he'd left at the end of the year, I think Ryan took over, and then he scored a couple at Leicester, Southampton. He got 2 incredible goals. I mean, he still pull it out the bag, can't he? He just got that ability to go and score wonder goals. So
you'd have played with him quite a bit then, Ledley. I mean, his attitude always strikes us all, I think, is a bit happy-go-lucky. Well, if he scores, he scores. If he doesn't, he goes off and plays golf. He's happier playing golf. I mean, is that the real him?
I mean, Gareth, he's a quiet lad, but he's a great lad. His teammates love him. He likes having a laugh, off the pitch. But when he's on the pitch, he's serious. He's focused, and he wants to do damage to the opposition. You can't mistake. He's kind of laughing around, always looking happy. You can't mistake that with the fact that when he gets onto the pitch, he wants to perform and especially for Wales. When you see him for Wales, he's like a man possessed in terms of, trying to drag them over the line in whatever he needs to do for them and, expect him to, again, perform really highly for them in the World Cup.
Do you think we should be worried about Wales as Englishmen, Tom?
No, but my scouting career ended with Gareth Bale. Steve Rowley, the head scout at Arsenal, sent me along to see him as well at Southampton. And he took one free kick, whipped it in, they won 1-0. And I phoned up Steve Rowley, I went, Steve, you've not done a tap, mate. No, rubbish. Don't bother. But he did one free kick, that's all he did, the whole game. I left early, I saw the free kick, and then Tottenham bought him. And there was that stage, wasn't there, where he kept on playing left back and he kept losing. Yeah. And then you pushed him up once, and wow!
Yeah.
What a player, right?
He went 27 games, didn't he? Never been on the winning team. It was incredible.
So you put him on, didn't you, when you were 4-0 up?
Put him on. It was 5 minutes to go. I thought we're 3-0, 4-0. I think it's 3-0 up. I thought, you can't cock this up. I'll stick him on. He came on.
I'll tell you about every time. Right? Yeah, so I don't think... I think it'd be a dead game. I do think we'll win the first 2 games, and Wales be a nice little draw for us, and we'll both go through and get on with the tournament.
I think the USA could be quite dangerous, couldn't they? I mean, probably... how many they got? A couple of lads at Leeds, haven't they, doing well?
Yeah. Aronson, yeah.
I think they've got a few decent players, America, but...
They're never easy, are they, America, to play at the USA? They're proud. Yeah. Proud performers, and they always put up a fight. Yeah, they'll always put up a fight.
I mean, there are other players, you'll know Aaron Ramsey pretty well, but he is injury prone, it would be fair to say. So Would you have concerns about him for Wales?
What in terms of
that he might not
causing
be
us
able
a
to
problem?
get through the games, and therefore, wouldn't go.
He's another one, a little bit like Bale. Like when he plays for Wales, he just seems to find another gear. Whether like they have a good understanding with the medical team and they just know like, right, I'll be ready for the game. Well, I don't know, but I think them two will both be fit. I know Bale's had a few injury problems this season, hasn't he? I think Aaron the same, but it seems to be whenever that game comes around, they're always there.
I think Aaron in strength is his stamina. It's
Yeah.
You know, he had the best recovery rates at Arsenal Football Club. You know, he could recover and run and sprint every 20 seconds or something. His recovery was incredible. And without that, he's not the same player for me. But like you say, he might get up for a tournament, swan song, and deliver again.
Yeah.
You know, they seem to up the gear when
A couple of Tottenham players lately, aren't there?
David.
In for Wales, you know. You've got Davis.
We've got
Rodon. Where's he playing?
Davis. He's in France at the moment.
He's in
on loan.
France.
He's in France on loan. He's been playing regularly.
Yeah.
And,
What about Richarlison then? What do you think of him?
For Brazil?
Yeah.
We all know him well in the Premier League now. We know exactly what he gives. He's a player that gives 100%. He's not nice to play against. You know, he doesn't give you a second as a defender. And you need these types of players in your team and your makeup. You know, he's not someone who's going to be scoring every game. But what he gives the team, you know, will allow their players like Neymar and other players to kind of flourish. You know, he really does a lot of the dog's work for.
And Harry mentioned Modric before there, who's still going incredibly well. Real Madrid midfield, he'll be back at the World Cup. He's 37, 38.
I mean, unbelievable. Yeah.
And he did it for years at Tottenham, did it years for Real Madrid. What special qualities does he have?
Even going back to Bale and Ramsey, I mean, they're not that old, are they?
No.
How old are they?
Ramsey's
early 30s.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, we talk about them as if they're 35, 36. They're still young enough to still perform at a very high level. But going back to Luka, is an unbelievable player. I mean, as Harry said, once he came in central areas, we just saw his game just elevate. You know, and I think when Luka came in, I think everyone thought he was more of a number 10 type of player. But he wasn't. He's a player that likes to pick the ball up from the back four and dictate play, start kind of poking balls, you know, outside of the boot and just bringing the front players into play. So I think that once he was able to play in his natural position, that's when we saw the real Luka, and that's what he's been doing ever since.
Yeah. It's the last World Cup for Messi and Ronaldo, we presume. Who knows with them. You once had Messi in your pocket, as I said earlier on. So how do you deal with Messi?
I told you before, Sean, it weren't Messi. I keep saying it was Messi. I don't know is the question, is the answer to that. He's still got it. I see some of his games in France and he's just got that natural ability, and you know, he's a player who's a luxury player, right? So he floats around, he picks up positions, he won't really defend. So he saves himself for them moments, and I don't think you can stop him when he's in full flow and in top form. You can't stop him.
Harry, are you a Ronaldo fan? Just wondering how you would have dealt with him at the moment.
I think Messi is his last opportunity, innit? I just get a feeling it could be the story of the World Cup that Messi just turns it on, and Argentina are going to be difficult to stop. You know.
What about Ronaldo?
Well, again, I think Portugal have got some good players, haven't they?
Yeah.
You've only got to look in our league. Look how many good players there are, top players. And again, he's the leader of that team, that group, and I'm sure he'll have a big influence in the World Cup. You know, he'll turn it on again for his country, won't he?
It's only 7 games, isn't it, at the end of the day? It's not a league season, and these guys are quality. They're world-class players and have been for a long time, so they can turn it on. They can have a swan song, you know.
And he's not played much, has he? Ronaldo's not played much football at all, so he'll be going into that fresh with a point to prove.
But I mean, those two as players, your centre-backs, how do you deal with players like that? They drop off, they go into little pockets that you don't necessarily want to follow.
To be fair, they're playing in 2 very good teams, which really will help them, because they can be the cherry on the cake, as it were. If they were playing in weakened teams, then I think they'd be like Ronaldo's doing at Man U, because Man U are rubbish. That popular? That's popular. Southern audience, but they're not doing so well. They got late goal and stuff. But when they're in a good team, you can go and explore, and you can open up doors and win quarterfinals and semi-finals, free kick here, free kick there. So, but left to their own devices, I don't think they've got the quality to drag the team. Maradona did in the day, drag the team single-handedly with Pele, win the World Cup on their own. It's not about that today. It's about the team rather than the individuals. But they can definitely help that team win titles. And how do you deal with them? We had a conversation earlier. In '86 we were going to put Kenny Sampson on Maradona 1-to-1, mark him just 1-to-1 out the game because he was that, and they decided on the day not to do it, and it didn't work for other reasons. But sometimes it does work when you just say this player is so good, we need to go bang. We just need to nail that guy. Sometimes you do that. As managers, Harry will tell you as well, sometimes you go, we went up to, Ronaldo was playing, I think, when Portsmouth went up, didn't we? And we kind of went, well, help. We went a bit, let help. And then you saw him walking off the pitch, didn't you? Because you weren't playing. We went, we've got a chance today. We've got a chance today, So it's difficult. It's difficult, especially when they're playing in good teams.
Ledley, you were going to say?
No, I was just going to say that, someone like Messi who's just clever and is always looking for pockets of space, it's a nightmare for defenders. I mean, you constantly got to be in communication with your midfield players in front, just trying to screen, trying to block the pass, just trying to get in the way of anything that can go into his feet. You want to keep the gaps as small as possible between the midfield and the defence. So you do have an opportunity as a defender to get close to him if he does receive the ball. But, this is what makes him so special. There's very few players in history that pick the ball up on the halfway line at times, and you can see that you've got a problem already. That far away from goal. Messi is one of them. There's not been many players like that, but, there's just Messi. You just know, once he beats one player, the whole game opens up to him. And for me, he's the best player I've seen in my time in football, for sure.
So just quickly, as we come to the end of this part, England, how far are we going to get, Tony?
Depends on the draw, the luck of the draw, and where we come. If we finish in the group, what's the next opponent and stuff. We'll get out the group for me, and I think quarter-final, maybe semi-final. But if we get on a roll, who knows?
Jack?
Yeah, I think we'll get out of the group quite comfortably. It depends if we win the group, what route we go on. Obviously, I think I saw it might be Senegal. I think we beat them. And then Spain, quarters, I think.
Harry?
Yeah, like the boys said, a lot depends on the luck of the draw, where we finish up and who we play. And I certainly think we've got some amazing talent. I don't know how we're going to play. That's a key as well. Are we going to play with a back four? We haven't really got a system that you look at and say, this is how we play, this is how Gareth Southgate plays football, this is his system, so that is a problem. I still think we're all up in the air, what we're going to do, who's going to play where. I don't know how good the form the players are in. Defensively, has Dyer been in good form? Or?
For the last 18 months, he was probably... the best English centre-half, but the last few weeks he's just gone off the ball, made a few mistakes in recent weeks.
So who's going to play? Who's going to play for it? He's going to leave, like the boys said, is he going to leave Maguire in the back four?
Reservations about England?
No, we're going to win it.
Hey, well done!
Yeah, round of applause for Ledley. Yeah?
No, I think...
Come on, England!
Honestly, I think even if we got to the semi-final, I think it would have been a good tournament for us. I think, of course, depending on who we play.
We can cause anybody problems, Ledley, can't we?
We can. I think there are teams that are in a better place than us at the moment, but we can beat anyone.
What do we know about Brazil, Sean? You probably know more than
well,
any
not
of us.
necessarily.
Who have they got?
They packed it with about 10 forwards.
They've got 200 forwards, yeah.
They've got
full of them.
Who they got? What defenders would they have?
Well, Danny Alves is in it. He's 39.
No,
Thiago Silva's still in it, isn't he?
Richarlison wouldn't get in the England squad. I don't think. No, I don't think so. He's in the Brazil squad. I wouldn't think he'd get in the England squad.
Would Martinelli get in the England squad?
Yes.
Yeah. Martinelli, I like him.
Jesus?
Would Jesus?
No.
No, let him have it, Harry. Should you be manager?
No.
was.
At the time, obviously, I think there was only 2 Englishmen in the country, me and Roy. We didn't have a lot of opposition, really. And I think the bookies bet 10 to 1 on me. I mean, it looked like I was a certainty, you know. But
Did you put some money on
it
it?
didn't happen. No, definitely not. Yeah. But that's life, isn't it?
As you explained, you're not a betting man, but who would your tip be to actually win it, the World Cup?
I'd probably, I don't even know enough about them. You know, I'd probably go with Argentina, but I'm not sure. Is the centre half at Tottenham, will he play?
Yeah, he'll play.
Is he,
I think they're 35 games unbeaten.
He's a good player, isn't he?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very good player.
I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't know.
I think Argentina have got the balance of being strong defensively and they've still got that flair going forward. So for me,
I've just got a feeling it's going to be Messi's going to have a World Cup that, you know, could make the difference.
Yeah.
Come on, England.
I do like Brazil as well.
Yeah.
I like Brazil.
Good
yeah.
players.
Yeah, good players.
Portugal for me.
Portugal for you?
Portugal for me.
Portugal.
Yes.
Darko, I think they're...
Not a huge sport for England, but hey,
With a bit of
all hope.
Ronaldo, Pepe cheering on from the sides. They've got a good squad, Portugal.
Yeah, they've got good players.
Round of applause for our panel, please.